Hello and welcome everyone to another week of news and updates. The first of our fourth year bringing you the news that is news in and around AltSpace VR. Hopefully, you guys listening on and watching on YouTube, you can actually hear what's going on this week. Apologies for last week. So, firstly, we'd like to thank Donna, who has moved on to produce her own events and others through her Let's Meet in VR and Lived Love Productions. Donna brought us 2 years of laughter and joy, as well as brilliant insights as co-host of News and Updates. Megaphone is on. Megaphone is on, Steve. Okay. So let me introduce to you your new host, working alongside Lowell. She is a long-time AltSpace VR member of the community, a community helper, world builder, event host, and amazing event moderator. You all know her. She's awesome, and you're going to love her. Everyone, please welcome Karen and Lowell.
Yeah. Hello. All right, Karen.
Hello, Lorel. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Mark, thank you so much for the introduction. I'm thrilled and honored to be here as part of the News and Updates team. And from now on, it's no longer being late. I have a rep for being late. I cannot be late any longer. So this will teach me to be on time. So anyway, welcome everyone to the News and Updates, where we have been bringing you the news you need to know about AltSpace VR in our community for 3 years. Today, we start our 4th year of the news and updates, produced by our superhero producer, Mark, who is running the show behind the scenes with the slides, script, video, and live stream. and making sure that everything flows smoothly. Yikes.
Which you all know it does every time, right? Always perfection here at News and Updates. This is the joy of living and working in the pioneering days of the metaverse. So, welcome, Karen. We are so thrilled that you've transitioned from the audience to the anchor, and we are so glad to have you on board. So, let's get on with the show. We know that you want to know what's going on with all the fun and excitement that is our life here in Altspace VR. So, let's get this party started.
Thanks so much, Laurel. Well, announced on June 2nd of this year, Altspace VR is upgrading their support for Unity to a more recent version, 2020.3.9. Originally scheduled for September 15th, the dev team heard our plea for a little longer, and we know that little longer is almost up. Our news and updates reporters have their virtual ears to the virtual ground, and they report that we are likely to have the switch in 2 weeks or less. We hope. As with all things Altspace VR, everything is subject to change.
Indeed. Now, Altspace VR is not just updating their support for a newer version of Unity, they're embracing new Unity supported technology that will empower world builders to create even more powerful worlds. This includes the new Altspace VR uploader, new render tools. We have the kit prefab formatter, linear color space support, that's going to improve those beautiful shadows, shaders, and Unity's Universal Render Pipeline, the URP, or ERP, as many of us call it. This is a powerful graphics solution that is supported by almost all the platforms that Unity targets, and it includes faster frame rates, shader graph support, new post processing effects, and just all around improved and better performance.
Since the remodel of 2019 for the Oculus Store, this is the largest update for Altspace VR, and it brings us up to par with many of the other younger social VR platforms. This change also improves support for Microsoft Mesh and the enterprise version of Altspace VR.
Please update your worlds and your kits now. Remember, you may upload multiple Unity versions to your world and kits to Altspace VR. The World Kit will automatically adjust to the device and the Altspace VR version when a person enters a world. After the update, okay, you can remove the older variations, but support both right now. This will smooth the transition when it happens, and others, users will not be the wiser. They'll automatically see the new version with all its beautiful glory.
Updates are happening almost daily as we move to the new version, adding tweaks and bug fixes to the preview test versions of Altspace VR and also world building features. After the update, expect not just improvements, but new features over the next few months as Altspace VR fully embraces these new render tools. We'll update you as soon as we hear the news. So join our news and updates Discord to keep up with the latest information.
Educators in VR is back hosting the community-wide Altspace VR Halloween event this year. We need everyone's help. So Educators in VR is based here in Altspace. It's a membership organization dedicated to integrating XR technology into education, business, and right here in Altspace VR by offering discussions, trainings, special interest groups, and great guest speakers. They host a wide range of community events as well, and October is Halloween, and the second year that Educators in VR has supported the Halloween events and activities for the Altspace community. If you are giving any thought to a Halloween world or volunteering as a scarer or helping out in any way, please let us know and we'll point you in the right direction. The official announcement will be out later this week, so get ready.
October is also Educator in VR's third annual Cyberbullying Month. Harassment, intimidation, bullying, and distributive and trolling behavior, once thought to be constrained to school playgrounds, continues online and in social VR. For 3 years, Educators in VR has brought in experts from around the world to talk about how to protect yourself, report, and understand the complexities of bullying online, including how to use our tools.
This year, they're planning multiple events each week to explore deeper into not just protection and prevention, but to affect change on a broader scale. Let's be honest, not all of these bullies are bad. Education VR and Allspace VR is about inclusion, right? If there is a path to behavior modification to help these people be better understood and welcome as contributors to our society, the world will be a better place for it. So get ready. We're going to be talking to experts in esports, event hosting, moderation, offering a ton of tips and techniques and support systems to ensure that we keep working together to keep our community safe and you safer.
And as usual, we bring you the news from around the AltSpace VR community every week and in between. The news you need to know to enjoy this beautiful metaverse that already exists. Join us on our News and Updates Discord for updates and related news that you can use to ensure you keep updated on what's going on within our AltSpace VR metaverse.
Now, on to one of our favorite subjects, world building. How goes the updating of your worlds? Are you ready? Come on. So many of us are working furiously to get our worlds updated, and others are just laying back, waiting for the update so they can update after the update. Whatever your preference, thank you for creating virtual worlds that we so love to explore and hang out in throughout all of our AltSpace VR community.
And here is an image from a favorite world builder reporting a tiny bug in the URP. It appears that Nico lost his head. Ah, the joys of pushing the envelope and living on the bleeding edge of development. One can actually lose their head. we are sure that many of you feel this way with the changeover and update.
I just cracked up when I saw that. He went, I think there's a bug. And I went, you think? We got a problem here, Houston. Anyway, just put me on the floor. Okay, so please remember, if you're starting out in world building or you're trying to handle the transition, that there are videos and tutorials available in the world building channels pinned right to the top of the Allspace VR Discord that take you step by step through the process of the switch from to Unity 2020.3.9 and the new render tools. And check out there's a whole category of world building channels on the Allspace VR Discord. Don't spread all your world building all over Discord. Get them in the right channels because that's where people are looking, eager to help you. And if you're scattered all over in the discussion or events, you're not going to get the help you need. So get them in those right channels and on the Allspace VR official Discord and start searching first, as I can tell you for sure. Seeing all the repeat questions on there, it is likely that your question has already been answered probably several times. So do a search and check the pinned messages for the different channels for the good stuff to help you on your way to building beautiful worlds.
And also as a reminder, all AltSpace VR basic kits have been updated and will continue to work after the switch. World builders generously donating featured kits have been contacted, and to the best of our knowledge, they have been updated. And it is likely that a few new kits may be added after the switch to the featured kits. Yay!
Hey! Jimmy continues to improve the Allspace VR website in the worlds section. He's added improvements to the template and kit upgrade reports to help you identify the Unity version, the platform size, date created in the stereo render mode, and color space as linear gamma. You're going to be wanting to use this color space, linear color space thing without a doubt. Trust me. This makes a huge difference and is so helpful for Unity world builders. Now, also note that there's now a checklist at the top that reports that the template is ready for PC, Android, and Mac, how many worlds it's using, and That template's been used in any events. Very nice.
And don't forget to check out the weekly SDK meetups and Jimmy's Building the Metaverse events, along with the World Tours by Daisy Shaw and the World Tours team. The World Tours team continues to explore worlds that may not be updated and lost after the changeover, giving the community a chance to see these amazing worlds that have inspired and influenced so many of our world builders. Check these out on Wednesday. And Laurel, our very own Laurel, created many of these worlds along with people who were in here from the very beginning, right, Laurel?
Oh, yeah. I only have a few compared to so many of you that are out there. And honestly, we love your worlds. And you may not know it. You may think like nobody visits. Check the stats. You'd be surprised. And honestly, it just, even if you have 5 or 10 visitors for a world, you can change a life with the beauty of your world. So, give it a chance. Make it come, keep it alive. Keep it alive. All right. We may have a week or two or less left to explore the worlds as they are right here, right now in Altspace. Many people are working to photograph and film these to preserve them. They would love your help. Check out the conversations in the Altspace VR Discord's World Building channel, and please help us to preserve our past.
And now we're on to some Discord tips for our community here. And we really appreciate that you guys appreciate the Discord tip section. And here we are for another Discord tip this week.
Did you know there's a Discord Moderation Academy? Yeah, there is. You can find it on the Discord site. It is a great resource, an excellent training. And if you pass the test to become, so to speak, a certified Discord moderator, you'll receive a few little tiny benefits like easier spam and troll reporting.
And if you're a Discord server owner, moderator, or you wish to improve your Discord support skills, we highly recommend this. For those of you who are event hosts and moderators, this would be an amazing course to go through as well. I intend to take it myself. Here is a great section on transferring from Reddit, Facebook, forum, Slack, and other platforms to Discord, including preparing the community for the change. And there's also extensive information on user permissions and even more sensitive management issues.
It covers just great topics like how to deal with confrontational individuals, sensitive topics, how to report spam and trolls properly, and how to deal with the uncomfortable, fussy parts of moderation. Okay, they're the things that we really don't want to, like difficult scenarios. And I think that it's important that we understand how to be compassionate, how to be understanding, and how to listen between the lines, so to speak. Now, depending upon your familiarity with Discord, this is this self-directed and self-paced curriculum. There's no cost. It's completely free. It may take you a few evenings to go through, or you may whiz right through it, but it is so worth it. Take your time. This is really good information. It honestly helped me understand better event hosting and moderation and have a greater appreciation for the Altspace VR community standards and our community helper program. And you know what? I wish Altspace had the same kind of training here, this Discord Academy.
Yeah, and we're so thrilled you enjoy these Discord tips to help support our back channel for Altspace VR events and activities. And if you have any Discord expertise you'd like to share, please let us know in our news and updates Discord.
On to your favorite thing, the Altspace VR events. We need that drum roll in here. As Altspace VR moves into the next update, some events are on hold, waiting for the update, but most are rocking on, delighting us with their ingenuity, their intrigue, along with some great entertainment.
For example, tonight we have our usual fare with Improv Night with Stevie and Shosheki and all the wonderful Saturday party events. And Sunday is filled with religious and spiritual events, as well as the LGBTQ and Friends Hangout and the long-running Center Stage, where people take to the stage to share their talents.
this year, Scott announced he was going to be reviewing all of the Star Trek Next Generation episodes. And he's now on season 2, episode 1. So he's like got 28 or so under his belt. With the episode The Child. This is the episode where the alien life form impregnates Deanna Troi. And it's equally a favorite and loathed episode in the 7-year series. And honestly, if it wasn't for the amazing acting performance by Marina Sirtis, that's the only thing that saved this episode. But let's give it a round of hearts for Scott for sticking with his commitment and making it to year 2 in the 7-year series. So check that out tomorrow.
Now, the Boom Boom Room after hours event with Biggie Smalls brings us some fantastic jazz and conversation to while away the hours on Sunday, or maybe your Monday, depending on your time zone. Presented by the Harlem Film House Metaverse, these ongoing blues and jazz special events are part of the magic that so many users bring to AltSpace VR.
Absolutely. And speaking of magic, a thing and a place, it's becoming one of those special events that we have here in AltSpace VR that we classify in 2 ways. It's now becoming one of the longest running, but it's also one of the most insane comedy podcast shows that we have here in AltSpace. Dawn and Stevie and Ashley, they discuss everything and anything, and the guests are not safe from everything and anything. It is a hoot, and a do not miss event that's on Mondays for mature audiences only.
And on Tuesday, join Educators in VR for their weekly workshop, followed immediately after by their newest Educators in VR team project dedicated to aviation. If you're interested in flight simulators, I'm looking at you, my brother Rich, for training and gaming like Microsoft Flight and the use of XR technology in aviation and aerospace. You'll want to check out the Aviation Team Project. This week, they are discussing the UTC Zulu time, the official standard for world time used by pilots around the world, and the challenges of adopting UTC time to the metaverse, which doesn't know a time zone.
It's true. Educators in VR is among many that have debated early on. As one of our first big discussions we had, we debated about how a single time zone to the metaverse, if we could add one, since the beginning of the metaverse, this has been a challenge. And it allows us to post one time for an event and everyone would automatically relate to that time. Now, the challenges in this are many, such as the fact that people don't even know what a time zone is, let alone how to adapt it. And military time is something that really confuses the hell out of US citizens. And so we'd love to know your thoughts on this. And we'll be talking about it in our weekly discussion section in just a few minutes. So get thinking about how would you handle event times and stuff, meeting times in the metaverse.
And now we move on to Wednesday. So the AltSpace VR community meetup is Wednesday. And this is a chance for you guys to connect with other people in the community. You know, you need to take advantage of these meetups as you never know who you'll meet. And sometimes you'll hear about announcements and discussions on new features and changes in AltSpace VR.
Also on Wednesday, Simulation Nation hosts a special event about finding love in the metaverse with a panel of experienced lovebirds how many of you found love in VR? Come on, be honest. Have any of you found love in VR? I know, Stevie, excellent. So they're going to have some experienced lovebirds who found their love in the metaverse, and as stated in the event description, the episode is bound to warm your cold digital heart.
And this Thursday is a very important day in Canada, as well as it should be around the world. It is the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation and honors the residential schools in Canada and around the world that brought tragedy to the lives of Indigenous people. Also known as Orange Shirt Day, who suffered and died under the Catholic Church's attempt to anglicize First Nations children. Many didn't survive. And those who did live with the scars of abusive treatment. There are several special events to honor the day. One is by Live Loved on Thursday and Friday. And my good friend, Stands with Trees, aka Matthew, is doing a special event on October 2nd to honor the children. These are very important memorials, so please consider attending and supporting these important events in our community.
Absolutely. I'm wearing orange in honor of Orange Day and these events. Consider a little orange into your life to help people remember, because we really want to repeat this. Unfortunately, it's still being repeated, but that's a different discussion. Thursday is another Educators in VR event with our popular VR researchers team. Now, this week, they're presenting research that's being done, preliminary research on democracy in VR and the impact of social VR and what it has on political debate, conversation, and influence. It's going to be amazing. So check that out on Thursday.
And then on Friday, check out The Theory of Everything with Mendes and Asi as they talk to the audience and share ideas on the theory of connected ideas and personal connections. It's a fun 2-hour event to help get your intellectual juices flowing.
We all need some of that.
That's for
Friday.
sure.
Yeah, we do. Friday is also the Altspace VR Over 40 meetup, bringing together all the older folks who thrive in this community. It is, you think sometimes if you hang in the campfire, you think that everybody's like, 16 and under, way under. But it's great to get together with people that are closer to your own age from around the world. So check that out on Friday.
Next Saturday is the New York 3D Variety Show from New York Stereoscopic Association with discussions and presentations of 3D technology, art, history, and more. It's a walk down the lane from history to today. It's often a mixture of Altspace VR and Zoom, and always a great time.
Hopefully you can't hear there's banging on the walls. I hope you all don't hear it.
Can't hear a thing.
Excellent. There is always too much going on here in Altspace. It is so hard to make up your mind when there are multiple events all at the same time. There are nightclubs and dances and computer classes and workshops and open mics and talent nights and meditation and a partridge in a pear tree and so much going on. It is so hard to choose.
Also, check out the channels to find the events to tickle your fancy and amuse your spirit. And if you don't see something that interests you, start your own event and let us know about it by posting it on the News and Updates Discord. We love sharing your events here. We do our best to bring you the highlights from this ever-growing community, and we are so glad you're here to share it with us. Well, now it's time for our weekly discussion. This is one of my most favorite parts of News and Updates. I love this. And now that I'm up here, I'm going to push all my friends out there to participate in this discussion.
Ooh, you've been warned. You've been warned.
That's right. I'm looking at you, Lance and Kurt and Darren and Rich and Matthew and who else did I miss here?
Oh, you'll find them all.
I will find them all. They better not show their face or they're going to be up here participating in this discussion. No, seriously though, as mentioned today, we're going to talk about the concept of a metaverse time zone, a universal time zone recognized internationally as the time for events and activities in VR. And I know this is really needed. I've learned time zones. Well, I haven't learned time zones. I am learning time zones as a result of being in Altspace, and I still have a long ways to go. So it's one thing to be in the real world and say, I'll meet you at 10. And the person puts that into context to immediately know if that means 10 in the morning or 10 at night, right? But saying that in VR, it's more complicated. Is it 10 a.m. or 10 p.m.? Is it 10 your time, my time, or someone else's time?
And one of the biggest challenges this is that people often don't even know what time zone they're in, let alone trying to convert it. because you've got to, try to convert it to something else, then convert it back to your time. They don't understand it, but we want to hear from you. You think it's possible to have a single time zone for the metaverse, for social VR, one that would make sense to everyone? Should it be UTC Zulu time, or a totally new time zone, or a VR or MV for metaverse, a time zone for, what is it going to be? So what are your thoughts and opinions on this? What would work? What wouldn't work? How do you think how should this be handled? So the raise hand button is up. Would you support it if this came up? So let us know. Hit that raise hand button and let's hear from you. All right, let's see who we got going on here, because this is a really complicated thing. Stevie boy, you're up first.
Yeah, good to see you, Ralph.
Hey, sweetie.
So, with regards to one time zone, you would like convert everything across. I it so I my first hearing of this was you mentioning it just like now a few minutes ago, and at first I was like, well, that's kind of weird. But it started to grow on me as the minutes grew past because I like for someone who spends like a lot of time in here and online with people from all over the world, you know, you might get used to, memorizing a bunch of time zones. I think I have like 7 or 8 at the top of my head. But, because we want this to be open to everybody, regardless of how long you've been in here. I think that it's a good idea to have one where it's just like, oh, that's so and so hours before or after me, like we would do for UK time or Pacific time, depending on where you are. And and the only con, like the only pros versus cons, I think the only con that I could think of for it is then it could make things confusing if people actually do prioritize based on different time zones, based on like making things better for people in the UK versus Russia versus Australia versus, Eastern or Western United States, or
Mhm.
whatever. So, you would still have to play a little bit of a juggling game, but I do think it's kind of got bigger pros than it has cons because, that we already have to do that just with a little more added on top of individually remembering every single one. And a lot of people don't have the time to remember every single
Oh,
one. And
it's
so if they just
crazy. Do
had
you
one to
find
go off
yourself,
of,
because you've been in
yeah.
here a long time, and when somebody says, "Oh, well, what time's the next event?" You actually look and you go, "Oh, it's in 90 minutes, or it's in 36 minutes, or something like that." You don't say, "Oh, it's at 2," because it's kind of
Um,
seen as rude. Do you find your language when you talk about when things happen in VR, do you find that changing?
I will
Have changed?
usually say in a certain amount of time, but if it's someone that I know, I'll usually say it's, for instance, 2 Eastern. Like I'll say my own time zone, and then I'll hope that that person can convert it. And again, usually that's just with people I know. Like I say that to Don and shit. Sorry, to Don and stuff. But like
That's okay.
uh,
You used it in
but
a
yeah.
sentence.
Anyway, yeah, that's most of yeah, that's pretty much what I got.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, let's see what some other people have to say, because this is a really, thank you, Stevie. This is a really complicated question, and I think it's worth addressing. Karen 666, you're up.
Hello, yeah, I was just um like I was used to converting time at 7:30 p.m. my time, nearly my bedtime, and I know that it's kind of 3:30 your time, and I'm always thinking in a different time zone because most of the users are in the USA. And I've had people saying to me after at World Tour events, what time is the next World Tour event? And I'm like, well, what time zone are you in? And I have to ask people, and then I can't convert it straight away because I don't know every time zone in the world. If they happen to be in Pacific time, it's easy enough, but otherwise,
Mm.
I just can't do it. It'd be great to be able to say, oh, it's at 3 p.m. alt space time. It'd be lovely to have a standardized time zone that we could say, yeah, the next meeting is at alt space 3 p.m. whatever. That'd make it so much easier, and then they can
Absolutely. Yeah.
convert it themselves.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that, well, that's where it falls down, is they have to convert it themselves. Things get complicated, but I really admire the fact that Altspace was one of the first platforms, your IP, your computer internet time, so it converts all the events into your time. Now, as an event host, I will let you know is that when you have a list of times, so with Educators in VR, we have almost 20 special interest groups now, and whoever's in charge of the group will give me the list of times for their meetups in their time zone. So let's say it's Eastern. They'll give me a list of events in Eastern. I have to convert it specific because that's where I am. Now, if I'm traveling, I have to convert it to wherever I am. But I have a chart right in front of me, but I still mess it up. I have to constantly remember whose time zone, what's their time zone and try to convert it. But we are lucky that we can see things in our time zone. That's the point. And boy, you're better at memorizing the times than I am. I have a piece of paper. Excellent points. I love this. All right, Jimmy, you're up. Hey, Jimmy, want to take this?
Hey, yeah, I just had some thoughts. One thought was that, in Star Trek, you've got you've got the whole ship living on a specific time. But that's because everyone
Yeah.
has to wake up and they have those shifts, right? The 3 shifts or whatever.
The night
I don't-
shift and the yeah.
I don't feel like we have that kind of cohesion. Like you're not
Mhm.
gonna. I don't think we expect everyone around the world to wake up and go to sleep and work and around the same time. So so I don't think it's necessary to have a single time. It would be kind of weird because everyone's gonna be sleeping at a different time. Now, if we're all in a spaceship and it was the if we're all in a generation ship and we're all going somewhere, and yeah, I think we
Yeah,
should
but
all
Jimmy,
we'll have a
isn't
time.
alt space while you're in alt space, isn't it kind of like a generation ship?
Unlike other games and platforms, we don't want you to be here all the time unless you really like it.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it should be like a nice balance. On the other hand, I think whoever's writing the software should probably handle the time. So I don't think Altspace does it that well. I don't know who works on that, but like, there's still bugs and stuff, and I mean we still have to get around daylight savings and all that weirdness
Oh,
and half time
God.
zones.
Yeah.
But it would be nice everywhere, like when we could just have the software do it automatically. It's one of those things that the software should be doing it better.
Well,
could-
no, and
yeah.
Altspace does it, in world and on the website. Altspace does it pretty consistently well, except for daylight savings time thing, which starts like November 7th this year. For those, and now it's all scattered because many places have voted to, in the states at least, have voted to keep it or to not, and it's now all over the map. But that's the hell time for booking. But the biggest challenge is when it comes to social media, marketing, to promoting your events, to talking to people and saying when it is. And that's a big challenge, is how do we speak the language that people will know, and remember to always include time zones. And I think we have to train people literally to get used to time zones once they come into the metaverse. It needs to be like part of the Altspace VR 101, include something about time zones. Training.
Yep. Great idea, Laurel. I love that.
It's really so I don't think that Altspace can fix that. But then with the aviation team for Educators in VR, they're going to have this meetup coming up on Tuesday, and they're going to talk, pilots. It doesn't matter where they are in the world when they're flying, they report the time in UTC. That's Zulu time. That's part of, so they've learned how to adapt to local time, because pilots are changing time zones like every few hours. And so I think it's going to be an interesting discussion to see. Who knows? Might have some suggestions. All right. Thank you, Jimmy. Let's see. We got some other people up here. Lance, you want to share your thoughts, please? Kurt and Andrew. Lance.
All right. Well, I was thinking about this for a while.
Hmm?
Yeah, I was thinking about this for a while when you mentioned it, because I knew, as
Mhm.
Karen said, she would have called on me anyways. I was thinking about it, and it does make sense to kind of, I do like the spaceship idea. I've mentioned that billions of times. But if we were to do something like that, make it so everyone is,
Yeah.
they're at their own time zone, But instead of sitting and thinking, okay, so it's Pacific time and I'm in Eastern time, and I'm having to count, every single one and, have to memorize almost every single one. Well, if they were to do something like that, where we had one time zone for the metaverse, it would be like, so we have an event at 2 MV, for metaverse, and then they
Mhm.
don't have to think about all the time zones compared to theirs. They could just be like calculating MV to their time, whatever, like, if we
Mhm.
decide what it is. But if we don't, and then Altspace has their own time, then it would be like 2 AP or something like that, for
So every
like
platform would
Altspace
have their own time. I
time.
don't think that's going to happen.
No. But if we were to do the metaverse one, the MV, there's something there, instead of everyone being like, they're on the other side of the world and they give their time zone, and then you're like, okay, time to calculate this, and
Yeah.
just
Well, what
use the
you brought up something important. I think it would be interesting if Altspace listed the time in your local time, and they called it LT or whatever, some kind of thing to let you know that this is your local time. And then
Mhm.
also at the same time did UTC. Because many people do,
Mhm.
especially in Europe and stuff, they understand UTC and they know that they're plus or minus UTC. That might help translate when they convey the information. So that might be something interesting to recommend, is having literally on the times have it listed twice as UTC and the local time. Maybe that might help in conveying information.
that would be.
Might be interesting. All right. Great points, Lance. Thank you. Love y'all come up with some of the best ideas. It's a wonderful thing. All right. And let's see, wait a minute. Andrew, you're up next.
Hi, how about
Eh.
just listing your local time zone on your name tag, so when you're just having a conversation you can click on the person and their local time zone pops up on their name tag.
Well,
Love
that's interesting.
that.
That's an interesting idea.
Hmm.
Um, I'm trying to apply it because I travel a lot, and I think, yeah, it would recognize the IP would be recognized by logging in on your headset and stuff. That would transfer across probably. That's an interesting idea. Send it in. I don't know. That could be very cool. And just on that point, um, Mark and I and others, we've talked about this, is that one of the things that's cool in Altspace is that we care where you're from, but we care more that you're here. And sometimes we'll have conversations naturally about, so where are you from, and go, oh yeah, I've been there, I see that and whatnot. But we're more likely to have conversations about what's going on and how we're feeling about things and the events and stuff, and we leave that surface talk. I really, because I travel so extensively, I've stopped telling people where I'm from, because I'll be like at a business meeting and I'll have 45 minutes for a business meeting, and I'll just take that small talk and we'll just shove it aside and go immediately into what happens. And then that question will come up like, so, where are you from? And I'll say, well, I'm from the Pacific Northwest. Oh, when I was back in college, I went through Portland and Oregon, and oh, there's some great union, da 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 da. Now you've just totally turned the conversation about something irrelevant, even though they're trying to find a connection. So I try to avoid that question within a meeting environment to keep things on track. But it'd be interesting to see if people's time zone was in their name tag, how that would change conversations, if it would increase connection. I mean, if you saw somebody that shared your same time zone, would you be compelled to go, hey, I think I live near you? That might be interesting. So great idea. I like that.
Thanks.
I like that. That is cool. Make sure you send that in to altvr.com/support. Send in all your ideas and feedback. Crux, you're up.
Yeah, so an extension of what he said, that right now, if there's an event, I see it in my time zone. But when someone speaks to me inside of Altspace VR, and he says, let's meet 9 o'clock, I don't know if it's 9 o'clock his time or my time. So
Or morning or
you
night.
seem to, yeah, exactly. So you seem to have developed this caption thing. and if it integrates to the Kevin thing, but when he says 9 o'clock, it says midnight at your time. Or
Good
something like that.
idea.
Oh, I wonder if that's possible with the translation engine, because that would involve more AI to analyze. Ooh, it's in our future, I'm sure. Fast, and it has to read our mind though. It can tell the time zone, but it have to read our mind as we meant AM or PM. Ooh,
Yeah,
ooh.
that's true.
Mm.
Oh,
Right.
my
Thank
nerve
you.
is totally
Anyway.
turned on right now. I like that idea. I like that. That's wonderful. All right, last chance. Anyone else have a comment about time zones? Thank you, Crux. That was wonderful. They want to pop up with last chance?
Darren, I know you got some ideas. Come on, Darren.
You wanna
Kurt,
add
I
something,
saw
Darren?
you had
Hit
your
that
hand
raise
raised.
hand.
Come on, Kurt. Ándale, Kurt.
Okay, Kurt, you get to be our last comment on it. And Karen, I want to hear from you after him.
Okay.
Okay. From an event standpoint, would it be nice to have a report back from at the end of the event to know who's from where and what time zone?
Oh
With
God, I would love
participation.
that.
Ah,
Yeah.
great
Oh,
idea,
yes,
Kurt.
yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Love that.
Yeah, and that's something that we're really, really missing. I mean, I love that we have the basic numbers that we have, but understanding who we represent, especially for an organization, I'm just going to talk personally for a second. Well, just news and updates too. But for educators in VR, we're actually exploring when is the best time to host events. We need to know where our people are coming from. And we also need to know for language, we're starting to develop a Spanish speaking group. We now have a Spanish speaking Altspace VR 101. And because we have enough people here to help support that, but there's other languages and time zones can just, they don't give up private information because a time zone runs, billion people in a per time zone, but it could give us valuable information. So yeah, love that idea. That
Mhm.
is genius.
Great idea.
And all right. And then, Jimmy, you get to close this out. Thank you, Kurt.
I was gonna say, you could put up a little poll. I don't know if somebody wrote a polling app could be
Mhm.
useful, and you could just put up a couple options of time ranges, and that's a pretty quick way for everyone, at least in each event, to say like, oh, I'm in like this time zone, or I'm in a European time zone, or this time zone. That could be pretty easy.
It could be. We've had some trouble with having multiple MREs in the event space, but we do have a poll. I don't know if it's been updated recently, right out in our lobby, and everybody charges right past it.
No, what I mean is you can
Including
have it.
me.
You can just pop it
No,
right
I
here,
know.
type it
Yep.
in, and then
Yep.
get it, and then turn it right off.
I think that would be awesome. So do check that out. Is it in the featured, or is it you have to get it from somebody?
Yeah, it's called
thought you
Jimmy
did it.
Poll.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. We reported on that. Excellent. Thanks, Jimmy. I appreciate that.
I'm going to pull
All right,
Laurel
y'all.
and put Jimmy
Yeah.
in charge of that.
Yes. So, Karen, should there be a universal time zone for the metaverse?
Yes, 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 and yes, and yes. When I first came in here, well, actually, when I had my educational business, and I had to travel, I'm embarrassed to admit I was already an adult and I didn't understand anything outside of my time zone. So I learned the U.S. time zones. Big deal. We have 4 time zones. I learned those, but really, it was coming into Altspace where I learned it quickly, just the US zones, because I translate for other people in here. I'd say, okay, it's 3:00 my time, so it's going to be 6:00 your time or whatever. But I so struggle with anything outside of the US, like Ancient, when Ancient, tells me what his time zone is. I mean, you have to add,
Germany?
I always forget if it's 10 or hours or 12 or whatever, but yeah, I would love to see a universal time zone. And one little quick thing I want to add is that, I've often wondered, as we continue into VR and VR becomes Ready Player One like. I'm talking about over the decades. You know,
Mhm.
will the universal time zone be the one and only time zone that we follow? Since I think, you know, going way into the future, we will be we're going to be hybrids. We're going to be kind of half in real life, but probably more in VR. So I think having a universal time zone, VR time zone would be awesome. I love it.
I think that is a really good idea. The from the moment I started, well, in my travel life, you know, my real world life time zones have always been more like, oh God, do I get to gain an hour or do I lose an hour or 2 hours or 4 hours, you know, to sleep or whatever, trying to calculate those things and adjust as I travel
Mhm.
usually 5 to 7 months out of the year, and I just learned to live with them and adjust automatically. But and we were booking events in 2020 for the Education Fair International Summit. We hosted somebody who was in, was it India or a country near there? Now I can't remember where it was, but we were trying to book this speaker from there, and this person, it messed up the entire Oculus calendar. And we
Oh,
couldn't figure out what was going on. And Don and I spent, I don't know, an hour or so messing around until I looked up where this person was. Their time zone is 15 minutes off, not an hour, but
wow.
15 minutes off from the
Oh,
next time zone. And we're used to having an hour difference between every time zone, and this was 15 minutes. So
mhm.
we had to we just moved it up 15 minutes, and everything went back into place. And so but it was a nightmare because we'd never heard of anybody having
Oh.
a 15-minute difference in the time zone. It was always 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. So, and there's 15 minutes and there's half hour and there's 45 minutes in some of the time zones. And
Oof.
so we had a good lesson on that. Luckily, not many people live in those places, but this one did. So I think it's
Wow.
complicated, and we're going to see. And so look forward on Tuesday. The aviation team for educators in VR is going to be talking about this. I'm going to pass on some of this input, but they're going to want to hear what you have to say. So go join them. All right, Karen, you made it.
I made it. Yay.
Made it. Your first event with news and updates. You made it through.
Well, I have to say I had a wonderful teacher, Laurel. You are
Thank you.
just superb. You know, you cover everything and then some more. And then Mark, who's always behind the scenes, and Lance, who was in here yesterday helping me out too. So, you know, it takes a
Got a
team,
great
right?
team.
But
It
I
takes a
had
beautiful team.
good help and good teachers. So thank you
Excellent.
to
Well,
all of you. And a
well,
great audience. I love you guys.
Yes, we are thrilled to have you here. We just love it. All right, beautiful. So that is it for this week's news and updates. Thank you all for joining us here each week and celebrating with the third anniversary. We're starting for year 4 of the news and updates.
And we do this for you for free. We are not AltSpace VR employees. Our team here works hard each week to gather the news and information to help our community keep up with everything going on here in AltSpace VR.
When the news you need to know happens, share it in our news and updates Discord so you get the news through all the clutter of information. Please tell a friend and share our Discord and our YouTube channels so that others can keep up with the news and around AltSpace VR.
Thank you for being here every week to share the latest updates from around the AltSpace VR community. We live stream the news onto YouTube every week, and you can catch up with past episodes and more about AltSpace VR events, projects, news, and community activities. This is a labor of love, and we love our volunteer team members who help us gather the news as reporters, moderators, and help us put this show together every week.
If you would like to join the news and updates team, please let us know after the show. We need every ability and talent. We will help train you in event hosting and managing and moderating. We're looking for more moderators and filmers as well as reporters. Hey, if you love attending events in AltSpace VR, just join our reporters team, take some pictures of the events, and let us know your thoughts in our private channel for our reporters, and we'll add that to the news. This is your show as much as ours, and we'd love you part of it.
All of our news and updates volunteers and moderators that help make this event such a success. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, with these uncertain times, please, please be safe wherever you are in the world. Love you guys.
Yay! Thanks, Karen.
Thank you,
made
Lorel.
it. Yay!
Now I can relax.
You made it through. All right.
Oh,